So today we're going to talk about developing people, and especially the younger generation stuff. But before that, before we get into the main part, I just wanted to mention about the timing and a little bit of the format of today's webinar. So now we have half of the people signed up. A few people probably still going to sign up in the next couple of minutes. We are going to start the formal part of the talk in about 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes. Then there will be altogether 35 minutes talk from our speaker, Jenny, and then 10 minutes questions. So for questions, you can type in on the right-hand side of your gadget, the webinar gadget, and send it through. We are able to see that, and then we will read that to the speakers, and then we can address that. And afterwards, the slides as well as the recording will be sending to you by email. So that will save you from making notes. And if you are interested in catching up what you missed last session, then do email us and we can send it to you as well. So because today we have half of the people who attended our last webinar, and half of them are new, so you may find a few slides similar to last time, but this is to ensure that for those who sign up just today can still get the whole picture of people management. So let me now introduce our speaker. I will speak a few minutes. My name is Ting Zhang. I mentioned I'm the founder and CEO of Crayfish, and we are based in Cambridge. And Crayfish offers a range of help to companies to engage with China. We can there's some slides at the end that you can see what we do. And then our main speaker is Jenny, who is a very experienced HR expert based in Shanghai. She has worked in lived and worked in 10 cities in China and visited 15 European countries during her career in Europe. Her past experience working in multinational companies, including Unilever, Young, as well as advising many Chinese companies, Chinese business leaders on managing and developing Chinese staff. So today, that's our focus. So what I would like to just start is to set the scene for today's topic, where the main type of collaboration with China typically fall into these 4 categories. Whether you are importing from China or exporting to China, that's the trade. And now increasingly, China is also initiating of investment into UK, Europe, but also as well, of course, a destination for investment. And now there's also a lot of activities for Chinese companies to acquire foreign companies as well. And technology transfer has always been one of the elements, very active elements between the UK and China, indeed, China and the West. But now you also see the two-way direction of that, i.e. the technology does not just transfer outside into China, but also actually coming out of China. And finally, also very importantly, the education and the cultural links between China and UK is on the rising trend, particularly education industry. We noticed there's quite a few universities signed up today for the webinar, and we also would encourage you later to raise questions, because as a university, your requirement for the topic may be very different from the sort of technology companies. So at Crayfish, we have identified 4 elements that is very important to make sure that the cross-cultural collaboration is successful. I'll quickly mention the other 3, but today is really about people. But of course, the cultural and languages and the legal environment is all important as part of the context to make sure the successful collaboration. And then you have the strategy and vision. That is where we call what we call content. And of course, channel is always important, how to communicate to the external and internal parties. So this is the model we develop at Crayfish. We call Crayfish 4C model. And the most important is the people element, which we're talking today. But for that, just want to quickly mention that there's some cultural concept which is really important to understand how to manage the Chinese workforce, and because these are all embedded in Chinese culture. I won't go into details. We will be having Chinese cultural workshop in the coming months, so do watch for that. But importantly is that you need to be understanding how the Chinese people think and how they behave in order to best motivate them and manage them. So now I would like to pass on the talk to Jenny, who is based in Shanghai. And Jenny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, over to you, Jenny.
Okay, thank you, Ting. Thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here to share with you my insights related to talent management in China. And I think today our topic more focused on young generation, but doesn't matter. There's some uniqueness I want to highlight in this topic. They are generation, the needs, and also the speed. Maybe you can find some similar slides I used last time for whom already participated last time. But this time I want to share in a different angle related to how to develop our talents in China. So let's move to the next page. Okay, first, no matter what kind of talent management for which generation, the focus is we should understand our people. Understand our people, what they are, who they are, and what they want. In China context, the different generation have a different way of working personality regarding the job. So Generation X is the main workforce or the management team in the multinational company right now. They are 40, 45 years around. And Generation Y, we are more talking about Generation 80s. And then Generation Z is a young generation, a new generation entering into the workplace. They are really different. Comparing to the Generation 70s, like me, I born in the early 70s. When we start our work, our education, our way of growing is working hard. We need to respect the hierarchy. We need to be loyal, and also we need to work diligent and also follow the rules. At the same time, we are also the generation really enjoy the 30 years economic evolution in China. Because when we enter into the job, at that moment, China is just starting from the first phase of the economic evolution. But Generation 80s, I need to say Generation 80s, they have a lot of challenge because when they enter into the workplace, their cost of living is much higher than our generation. As you all know, the China market, the real estate market is so high and growing is in an incredible way. So when they enter into the workplace, they need to afford their housing loan very high. And also they are the generation as a one-child policy. So the one couple, they have 1 kid and they have 4 old people to feed. And also in between, they are like a sandwich. But in the between, they need to fighting for their life, for the housing loan, for the education for the kids. Another thing I want to highlight in China, the education cost is extremely high if you want to put your kids into private school. because this generation, Generation 80s, they want to offer good life, good education for their kids, rather than our generation. We just always go to the public school. But now we have many private school, and the Generation 80s, they want to give their kids a different education system. So they need to afford the high education cost as well. So imagine a high education and also the housing loan they need to bear, and also their living cost for their family. So this is a generation situation of Generation Y. And then we talk a little bit of the Generation Z. They are people born after 1995, which almost the most fresh graduates join the workplace from last year or last 2 years. They are really different, especially they live and working in their own way. They pursue the meaningful job and enjoyment, and also they share their opinion without fear. But this is really different, I want to highlight. So let's move to the next page. We can see from different agency, I got some information. This is a chart I got from Mercer. Mercer is the very famous HR consulting firm focused on the company band and also the job evaluation and the salary range. So they do this survey this year and they compare Generation Y versus Generation X. You can see this is the top 5 voices from the young generation. It's very interesting. You see Generation Y, they more pursue the fast growing. The 50% of people really want to get opportunity to be promoted quickly. And also 47% people, they really need the leaders at a clear direction. And then following is compensation is fair and market competitiveness. Compared to Generation X, the compensation is the first one. So link with what I shared, Generation X or the Generation 80s, because they have high burden or the challenge in the cost of living. That's why compensation is really important for them as well. But Generation Y or Generation Z, they are a little bit relaxed because their family already fight for the foundation. So they have more freedom to choose what they really want in their working place. Then we go to the next page is another survey. Yeah, this is come from LinkedIn, and also I add on my insight. So LinkedIn, because young generation is really popular topic in China. I think even hotter than probably in Europe or the American market. Again, talk about this report saying that relationship is important for Chinese professional. This probably not for young generation, it's for everybody. So we like to work with the people we like. Same like all the people in the world. We want to work with the people we like. Even sometimes the job is tough. There's so many challenge, but if the people we really like, if the manager I really like, I would like to stay in the company. So building a good culture is really important. And the culture is not the sentence writing or printing the poster on the wall, but how you work and how you work the talk as the leaders, how you deliver the manage environment. So this is really important related to the culture. And second, if I highlight a little bit more related to the culture part, I can give you a real example. When I worked in Faro, that is my last corporate job, 9 years ago. When we started the business, we only have 40 employees. But my GM and me, we truly believe we want to bring a people-oriented environment, and we don't like political. So we keep it simple as much as we can. Although we are Italian company, we like Italian DNA, passionate for food quality, pursue the quality, but at the same time we try to care our people because we are a family business. That's why we want to care our people as much as we can. And that's why even our job is so tough and the workload so high, but people not leave. I remember and I feel very proud that in my generation, our management team, the turnover rate is less than 10%, which is incredible results in China market in the FMCG industry. And the second point is related to the hiring manager, Why people join the company? The first image echoed to what I shared in last seminar. Why people join the company? They join the company as well. They join this manager because they think, okay, we can learn from this manager, and this is the manager I want to follow. But another challenge in China is hiring managers' capability is really a question mark. Sometimes manager, especially the old generation, they use the traditional way to manage the young generation, which is not work at all. So this is the second point we need to pay attention. The third point is how to deliver the right message. Social network. This is a new norm in China environment because young generation use social network much more than our generation. So they refer the information, they check this company's information from online, from the digital channels. As I said last time, everybody has a mobile. If you enter into subway, everybody watching their mobile, no matter whether they are walking and sitting in a chair or whatever, the mobile is always on hand. So it's kind of a 24 hours with you. So put the right message into the right channel and build your employer branding is important. This is a 3 trends identified by LinkedIn, and I add on my insight. And then let's move to next page. Also interesting. This is a comparison, China and US, North America, let's say. But pity I didn't find the information related to Europe market. But you can see from this chart, really interesting is Chinese young talent, they really pursue the challenge and the opportunity to improve their skills, more than 50%. And also confident about company's future is another important factor. And work-life balance is important, but not so important compared to US and Canada. I need to say, based on my experience, based on my observation when I working in Luxembourg, the great work-life balance in Europe is high demand than Chinese market. That is also my observation. So let's move to next page. We can see another study, another case sharing. These 3 companies are all Chinese companies. The first one is a hot pot. I don't know how many people really like Chinese hot pot. In the winter time, it's very popular everywhere. Haidilao is so famous in these years. This is a really interesting case. It's a private-owned company, a Chinese private company, and it's basically a restaurant chain stores. They only do the business offer the hot pot, and each time if you go to the Haidilao, you get very nice service. At the same time, they evolving their product and also service. They even can do the delivery. Imagine if you want to hold a party at home and you want to have a hot pot, you can order online, and then they can send to you with everything, not only the food, but also the machine, but also the table, and even to help you to clean later on. So why people so engaged? You know, in a restaurant, people working so hard, they need to have the shift. But even in that kind of situation, their turnover is also low. Why? Their secret, there are so many secrets, but there's one thing, is they provide the right compensation and also the benefit. And they also provide the respect to the young people. Because so many people, they hide from a very poor area. When people join Haidilao, then they call their relatives join the company, and they have a low education. So this company also provides some like if they move to the big city, definitely living is important, and the living cost is so high. So they offer the apartment. Even if you are a couple, they offer apartment for a couple. And if they notice that your parents, they don't have the social security, the pension, they help you to contribute the social security for your parents. So this extra effort they make a tremendous differentiation compared to other restaurants. So this is a very famous. If you come to China next time, I strongly suggest come to Haidilao to experience their service. And another thing interesting is their people, although they are very young, they are only staff or the working the shift, but they also have the power to decide what kind of extra service they provide to you. So that is a really amazing experience as a consumer to enjoy. The second company is the famous person, very popular in these years. His name is his company is 逻辑思维. Actually, he's very famous. He uses a nickname is like a fat Luo, Mr. Luo. And in their company, because basically their business is recommend books online, and also offering some online video to people to help people to learn the different knowledge. So what they are different versus other digital company? Their people mainly is two groups, Generation 70s and Generation 90s. They work together, offer the big space for young people to drive innovation, and also offer the right incentive. So they give the empowerment, big empowerment to young people. They trust the young people they can do lots of innovation. And at the same time, they offer the right incentive. This is the second story. And then the last story, the third story is Partners China. This is an investing company, basically. What their secret, they said, be a charming leader and lead by example. Because echoed by the LinkedIn survey, people joined, also, no matter, beside the company, they also joined the line manager. Although there's one sentence, join the company, leave a manager. So if manager can be a very charming leader, caring the people, provide a clear direction, and also offering a bright future, people follow. So this is a small cases I found. This is all real case, and this is an interview done a company. They interviewed more than 10,000 people. Generation 90s, why they stay the company. So this is a case I found to share with you. As a summarize, we can say if you want to have a good relationship, if you want to keep your young talents for generation 90s or 95, there's some key message. One is, how about your business future? Whether there's a clear direction or not. Whether your people believe there's a bright future or not. And the second, remember, this is a generation they really like to start up their own business. So if they're not happy about the environment, they can leave easily. And the third is independent, which means offering the space for them, not always order them, just give the space to allow them to do the innovation, allow them to give you more creative ideas, and offering the learning. Because they are young generation, they're full of curiosity. They want to learn every day. They want to see their progress every day. And remember, they are high demanding generation. They can leave the company in one day. In the morning, they say, I'm not happy with you. In the evening, they say, I quit, I go. This is never ever happened in my generation. And even in generation 80s, it never happened. So this is what I really want to highlight, the top 5 characteristics for all of you to think about. That is, I think, what I really want to share with you. As a summary, the last sentence, no matter what kind of generation, if we talk about talent management, the needs is important. The last but not least is talk about speed. Why I repeat this topic, even same like last seminar, because I truly believe speed is so different versus the European market. A good people always have different offer. If they're not happy, they can leave you quickly. So sense of urgency is a nature DNA from a Chinese. And the reason why I left my very nice, decent life in Europe is also kind of in speed. Because I feel the life in Europe is too nice. and I want to join a very meaningful life, meaningful and challenge life in China. That's why I left the company and I resigned from Europe directly. So I want to highlight this one because I heard many companies as a startup, you come to China market, and then when you hire a candidate or when you want to offer a candidate, please speed up because if there's a good talent, everybody fighting for good talent. Yeah, let's move to the next page again. Speed is I just highlight is a DNA from because as a Chinese, there's one funny story I just discussed with my partner. He's a Dutch, and he said, Jenny, you know, in these 10 years I stay in China, there's one big impact is hurry up. When I live in Europe, I never have this so rush, but in China, you just speed up. you even didn't aware, but you speed up. This is because of a whole environment pushing you move fast. That's the reason why China market and China business and the Chinese GDP can grow so fast. For sure, there's always uncertainty. For sure, there's always challenge. For sure, there's always an imperfect situation in China government related to this economic management. But it doesn't matter. Chinese just keep the speed. So again, related to the talent management. First, remember to deeply understand what your people need. Talk with them with a heart to heart to talk. Second, put aside your experience, listen your people sincerely, and bear in mind with the speed. If you make decision, please speed up. So this is what I want to share related to the young generation or the talent management in China. It's very short. If any of you have a question, I'm happy to share what I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. So I just want to add to that the change of the attitude towards work and towards what people expect from the work in China is actually very interesting. As Jenny mentioned, your generation and my generation, you know, people do stay in their work and trying to make changes of their environment. But now the younger generation just do not have that patience to change their environment. They just leave and then go and create their own environment. And there's a word I heard in China called 裸辞, means naked, resigned. Basically, it means someone, before they even found the next job, they're not happy, they just quit. And then they just look for the next job. That is probably quite as unusual here, I think, from what we see. So that's very interesting. Thank you, Jenny, again. So now, if anyone have questions, please do send through. Yeah, and in the meantime, while you put the questions through, maybe I can introduce a little bit about how Crayfish can help you if you are new to Crayfish. We have a combination of ways to help companies trade with China or institutions, organizations interacting with China. We have a first of its kind online marketplace where you can self-service to get your projects done, whether you want to find people or you want to get a contract translated or get some market research done. That's what we call Crayfish Marketplace. And in the meantime, if your requirement is a little bit more complicated, whether it's recruitment or whether it's marketing or research or strategy, we do offer a tailored service, a project manager approach to help that done. So whether it's big or small, that we can always help you and bring in the experts such as Jenny, but also different areas from legal, marketing, and also supply chain. So our way to help is really all the way through your business development and life cycle with China. So specifically on the recruitment side, we do have a very cost-effective job adverts on our website and through our social media, where about 5,000 people can we can reach for you if you want to just post ad. We have done this for quite a few clients who found candidates for £299 advertisement, but also we can do a little bit screening for you if you like us to. Finally, we do offer that bespoke tailored recruitment. We have done quite a few recently for clients to recruit people in China and in the UK. And Jenny also, for example, have been helping advising our tech companies in the UK here on their China HR practices and contract. So next webinar, which is going to be the 15th of January, is our third session in a webinar series, and that is specifically talking about managing the Chinese employee contract, and specifically talking about some social security policy update and implications for new foreign companies operating in China. And there are also webinars coming up, which will be on trademarking, e-commerce, as well as culture. So do watch that space. We do have one question now, which is Jenny, let me read it for you. Is how do you see the best way to award a young generation if they have done really well? Is that mainly monetary, or do you also have some suggestion for foreign companies, for example?
First of all, I need to say again back to what people really appreciate. Money is good, but money is just a one shot. So normally we say in HR family, we said money only can bring the impact within 3 months at most. So I need to say depends on what people contribute. Part of the reward. At the same time, think about what really people want, and also what is matter for her or him. At the same time, beside me, I also have my young generation colleague sit beside me. When she listened this question, she already used her face saying that money is not the critical important. So money is important, but that doesn't mean everything. So again, back to your people, what they really want.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question is, how do you create the company culture that young generation like? Can you give some example?
First, I think culture is serving to the business strategy. Industry is different as well. So what I want to say that first understand your business strategy and what you really want to get in the next 3-5 years. And then think about what kind of environment you really want to create in order to fulfill that business strategy. And then think about how this is whether this is DNA or value you really believe, because culture cannot be blah blah. It comes from you. As a starter or as a company, we need to understand what is our DNA. As an example, I shared about my practice in Ferrero a long time ago. We have very unique family business, family culture in Ferrero, Italy, and headquarters. The way we translate in China a little bit different, because at that moment we are kind of startup business in China. So under this family business, at the same time we are the startup. We need to be entrepreneurship. We need to be entrepreneur and working hard, fighting for our future. We believe. So the culture we build up is, we will create. We want to offer the high quality chocolate to Chinese market, to Chinese consumer. So link with our business strategy, our home company's culture, then we define what kind of environment we want to build up. and then linked to our behavior and competency. So this is all HR solutions activities connected. So if you really want to define the culture, we need to back to business strategy, your home company's culture, and even the GM in China, what kind of a style he or she has. So this is all connected.
Thank you. Further to that, I wanted to also ask you, for example, in a hierarchical structure of the Chinese company, but many foreign companies, when they come to China, for example, particularly those tech companies I have personally worked with in the past, I see they have a very flat structure in the UK, for example, and then when they go to China, they use the same structure. I would always advise them to maybe adopt a slightly different structure. In China, most of the Chinese staff would like to have to see where they fit in the corporate structure. They like to see like almost like a seat in that chart. They don't want everything to be flat. What is your experience and comment on that?
I need to say flat organization is much more than before. 10 years ago, the company structure is really hierarchy. There's different box for everybody. It's like a pyramid. It's really like a pyramid. But nowadays, because of the impact by the internet and the e-commerce topic, the company is more flat. Even the traditional manufacturing company, even I said like Italian, very as traditional Italian family business, we are more flat than before. And this is to bring a big challenge for the management team, because span of control in past, we always said 7 is important, is an effective span of control, which means one people manager take care of 7 people. But nowadays, manager required to manage 20 people at the same time, and even they are virtually in the different positions, different place. So flat organization is really necessary to make sure the communication more effective, and especially for the internet, it's a new norm industry. And another thing I want to highlight is this is also bring a challenge related to career development. Remember, young people want to see they can be promoted quickly, they want to grow up quickly. If in the past, the traditional career development is a career ladder. So we offer career ladder to people saying that, look, so if you grow faster, what is the ladder you can go? But in a flat organization, it's not easy to see the ladder. So how you create the sense of development for people is really important. Yeah, but I need to say, flat organization is much more than before. If you are a technical or the not traditional company, I suggest follow the flat, but carefully manage the people, manage the motivation and engagement.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess, as you said, in a flat structure, how do you provide that career ladder? That is a very interesting topic to discuss on its own. Okay, without any further questions, we probably will close our webinar now. Thank you everyone for attending, and if you have other questions afterwards, do please send to us. We will be following up with the email with the recording link and the slides, and with future webinar. Thank you again, and thank you, Jenny, and goodbye everyone.
Thank you, bye.